Every good man would say he would die for the woman he loves. But are you willing to live for her? To sacrifice daily? Both the small things and the big things? Even quietly without her even noticing? My name is Nolan T. Painter, an aspiring young man with aspirations greater than anyone would ever understand. In today's video, I want to talk about true masculine sacrifice. So, when you want to die for someone, death isn't always like physical, right? You don't have to physically die for someone, though that is not necessarily the ideal, but that is the peak of it, is dying for someone physically. But sometimes the death is an emotional death or a mental death, right? Or a spiritual death that you do for them. It's the death of your pride, the death of your selfishness, the death of lust especially. A good man dies to himself every day so his relationship can win. And I especially believe in this. I believe I should die to myself every day for the sake of this loving woman who I so care for. And here's some examples. When you apologize first, that's an example of dying for the relationship, dying for your woman. Because you're crushing your ego, you're crushing your pride, you're denying yourself so you can apologize first. Because a good man would lead in the truth, and the truth states, hey man, you're upset, but you should apologize first to do the right thing to fix things. When you choose patience instead of anger, right? It's okay to be mad and get frustrated, but you have to kind of push that aside and be patient and be reasonable, right? That's denying your impulse. And that doesn't mean being logical and emotionally void. It means leading in truth and finding the right time to do things, because a good man will find the right times to be frustrated or the right times to be loving, which I hope you realize you should always be loving, so that's all the time. And when you stay loyal when no one's watching, like when you go to the gym, you're not going to look at other women. When you're on Instagram, if you have it, you're not going to be looking at other women or, even thinking about other women. And I can't believe there's men out there who consider, wow, how is thinking about another woman, like, that's crazy. I can think about whatever I want. And it's like, dude, no. You shouldn't be thinking about other people when you're in a relationship. That's the whole point of being in a relationship. So you must die to your temptation. That's what's necessary, and you should die every single day. So let's look at the next thing. The warrior's sacrifice. And this is interesting because a lot of what people imagine in sacrifice is like you're stopping the school shooter, or you're in the block, and your girl's getting attacked and you throw your life down to save her, or you take a bullet for her. Be a man who's willing to take a bullet, and also be the man who's willing to do all the little things, the invisible things that she wouldn't even notice, that are essential to being a good man. And of course, a good woman would appreciate these things and she'll see these things, but the standard can't be, oh, a good woman will help me. The standard's going to be, I'm going to be a good man and provide these things regardless. So people think dying for someone, they think it's brave. And it is courageous, it is brave, but living with the discipline is a lot braver, right? Your ability to get through the situation, die to yourself every day and continue living for them, that's a lot braver. A lot of people are willing to just die and get it over with, but you can stay with them, you can live with them. And as courageous as it is to die, is it not more courageous to follow what your partner desires, which is for you to keep on living and stay with them, right? Die to yourself, not die to some other bloke who is some lunatic who wants to kill you, right? Die for God, die for your partner, right? And again, this isn't a physical death, this is a spiritual or an emotional death. This is you humbling yourself ritually every day for the sake of your partner. Because, that death will never end. You'll keep on going, right? It's like the slow death of your comfort. You're annihilating your comfort. You're annihilating the things that hold you back and make you a poor man. It's like the saying, kill the boy and become a man. Now, I think that's a little ludicrous, because I think a good man still has a little bit of that boy inside of him. Not the bad stuff, like kill the lust, kill the pride, kill the envy, kill the jealousy, kill all that nasty stuff. But the little boy who's like into like model airplanes and likes trucks and like all that cool stuff and motorbikes and like airplanes, like the little boy who'll build Legos, keep that. Okay? A good woman would appreciate a man with some depth, so keep that little boy with you. Keep the good things. But if that little boy was a lustful guy and did a bunch of nasty things, then get rid of that stuff, of course. But look at it this way. A soldier doesn't die because he wants to die. He does it because he's already accepted his purpose in the sacrifice, right? When you enlist into the army, you're not going to go, oh yeah, I'm in the army so I can die. It's, I'm willing to die. So when you're with your partner, you're not seeking your death. You've made comfort with the partner over the sacrifice that you're willing to make. And that sacrifice will lead you to becoming a better man. Because if you're going to die for them, you're not going to be some Joe Schmo average guy. You're going to be the best man you possibly can. And it's the same in relationships as this soldier. A man's willingness to protect and provide doesn't come from his impulse and him going, I'm going to die. It comes from preparation. It comes from him going to the gym all the time, or studying a martial art, or this and that. It comes from him like wanting to sacrifice for her every day. And when you're willing to die for your partner, it means you're willing to sacrifice for them. So why not die for them every day? Why not work hard for them every day instead of just letting it happen and spur the moment? And if a man can't die to his comfort, if he can't sacrifice his comfort, then he'll never be ready to sacrifice his life. And, you know, this moves on to, like, daily choices, too. And I've talked about this a bit, but it's not just about the big things. It's not just about the medium things, like, you know, life or death versus, you know, getting rid of lust and your pride and whatnot versus the little things, which are the daily choices, right? You know, you got to die to your daily choices, your daily habits. You got to build a man who lives and dies for his partner daily. Every day, multiple times a day even. But, you know, what is the woman's role in this? Now, we know a woman should be supportive. A good woman would support you in this journey, and she'll be caring because she understands it's beneficial to her for her to support her man and let her man become a really good man, right? Why would a woman not want a good man? So, but a good woman, though, doesn't just want you to die for her. She wants you to live with her in devotion. She wants you to be devoted to her and make her feel safe and reassured that there's no one else in the picture. So you don't do that by just taking the bullet. You do that by taking 1,000 bullets every day, right? You got to be comfortable with willing to die for your partner, not because you're just in the spur of the moment going, oh, I'll die. You know, it's got to be, you know, metaphorically dying for her, right? Metaphorically taking 1,000 bullets for her. No matter, I love someone enough, I would take 1,000 bullets for her physically. Because that's love. That's true love. I don't care if I'm uncomfortable. I don't care if I'm put to torture or put to shame or all my habits came back and I was crumbled down and I had to reconquer everything. If I had to relearn how to walk, I would do it all. I would fight till the end of my life. I would sacrifice everything I have to be a better partner for the people I care about, for the person I care about, the person I love. Because that's real love. And I always try to teach men, love is sacrifice. So if you truly love someone, you're willing to sacrifice for them. And, you know, why not do the best sacrifice, which is dying for them? Maybe not necessarily physically, but metaphorically every day. So you don't need to burn out for her, though. You don't need to grind out, and then fall flat on your face. You'll see a lot of younger men, they'll finally have this understanding of what it means to sacrifice, and then they'll burn themselves out. But you got to be careful, because a woman doesn't want a guy who's going to be like buying her flowers every day and then he gives up. And I know as a man, you're probably thinking, that's not that bad. You burnt out, it's understandable. But girls don't understand that. They just see a guy who's into her, and now he's probably into some other girl. And even though I'm saying that and it doesn't sound very emotionally charged, from the woman's perspective, it's a big thing. It's a big, big thing. I did that on little levels with my previous partner. I would be like totally convicted one day, and then because I suffered from depression, you know, I'd be a little sad one day. And she could pick up on that difference, and as a result, it built confusion. And confusion is not safety. And women are naturally attracted to safety. And thus, she was frustrated with me and confused with me. And thus, I'm getting penaltied for it. So as a man, you can't burn yourself up for these things. That's why I'm stressing you need to do this daily. Not saying you need to do your all daily, but saying you need to build yourself into a ritualistic habit daily. Right? If you want to finish a book, you don't start by finishing the book. You start by reading the first page. So if you want to really make a dent, if you want to really do something, if you want to be the man who's like is giving his all the time, then build yourself into someone who's comfortable with giving his all. I am comfortable with giving my all. I am more than comfortable. I think my expectation for myself is that if I'm with a partner, when I'm with a partner, it's going to be my all. I will give 110%. I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to be shameful. You're getting 110% of Nolan T. Painter, and there's no arguing about that. You are getting my full, unadulterated, unclipped, full masculine, pure raw love. And stop. That's it. But I'm comfortable with that because I've built myself to a position, right? I'm not going to burn out from that, right? It's my daily life. It's become a part of my daily life. It's my purpose, right? I go to the gym every day, so I don't need to start building up these habits when I start dating this person, right? I read books every day. I do this and that every day. It's already a part of who I am. And that's a bit of a trend. You got to become the person your partner is willing to date before you actually date them. You don't just change, right? And, think about it. That's a real protection. That's a real love for service. That's real sacrifice. Because you don't even know the lady yet, and you're already preparing yourself for her. You're already dying for her, right? Does that not scream this raw masculine sacrifice, right? If you looked at a woman, right, the single woman, and she said, oh yeah, right now I'm actually preparing myself for motherhood. I'm preparing my body for childbirth. I'm eating healthily. I'm doing the proper exercise. I'm having self-care. And as a man, you would go, wow, that's really nice. I mean, you're single, but that's actually really good to strive for. And as a pathetic boy or some random girl who's got like no clue about what it means to be a mother, she'll come in or he'll come in and say, what are you doing? Don't you want to date first? Don't you want to do this? And it's like, okay, you'll date. Okay, then you'll marry. Oh, and now you're going to start wanting to be a mother, right? So why wouldn't you prepare for these things when you're younger? Just like with a job, would you not want to prepare for the interview? Would you not want to go to school so you can then get the degree so you can get the job? Are you not preparing for it, right? Would you not want to start the business early type of deal? And as a man, the equivalent would be preparing to be a father. So just being, like, that doesn't mean, her getting pregnant and then having kids to learn, or you being a father to learn. No, that just means learning to be respectful, learning to be disciplined, learning to lead properly, learning to be a good man. And she'll learn to be a good woman. So just look at that example as the extent that you need to be working on these things before you're actually dating someone, and you need to be working to them where you're proficient enough to give it your all without necessarily burning out. And if you do burn out, if you do ever fall apart, the expectation is that your partner will support you rather than belay you and put you down because you're all of a sudden confusing. But then that means you have a responsibility to communicate this to your partner, right? You'll notice there's a lot of responsibility and there's a lot of reliance. But the truth is, it's not necessarily reliance. You're just scooping underneath each other to lift each other up and care for each other. Because love isn't a reliance on each other. It's a submission and a servants. Or it's a submission and the serve of one another. I don't know if I worded that properly, but I bet you understand what I'm saying. You serve each other. You submit to each other, right? She owns your body. You own her body. That's how it works. You're one. You're a whole, right? You're not relying on each other. You're loving each other and protecting each other, right? And the goal isn't to like die a martyr. The goal here isn't to like die a martyr, die like this crazy man, right? Because then she's without a man. And do you want her to just go hook up with someone else? No, she's yours, right? Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be unwilling to die. If the moment comes, if you love her enough, you got to be willing to die for her. But you can't be walking around waiting for the moment to die, because you'd rather not. You'd rather live with her. More importantly, she would rather live with you. So don't die, right? Build a legacy, right? The goal is to build a legacy through your sacrifice, through dying every day, right? The goal is to raise love that will outlive you. Right? The goal is to raise love that will have children, who will then have children and go on and build something beautiful. That's the goal. To continue. To build something beautiful. Right? So you gotta die every day metaphorically. And when the time comes, you could die physically. But that's not something you should try and pursue. It's something you prepare for. And when your woman remembers you years from now, she's not just going to remember a man who loved her, but she's going to remember a man who did something greater than himself for her. She's going to remember a man who sacrificed everything for her because he loved her. True love. And true love isn't just a feeling that a woman's going to have and go, oh, I'm loved. It's going to be constant remembrance, constant sacrifice, constant showing, right? And that doesn't mean showing off. That means showing her that you love her. Saying things, doing things, communicating, action, whatever it is. Right? You got to be communicating and expressing in some way that you love her enough, more than enough actually, to the point where she can just sit and just be embraced in your love. Because love isn't just her going, oh, I'm loved. It's her going, wow, I am so happy. And then she's filled with this beautiful emotion that is uncomparable to anything else. So again, you don't have to die in battle to prove that you love her or to prove that you're strong, but instead you should metaphorically be dying every day to show the world, more importantly, show her that you are strong and you are capable. Again, you don't go to battle for the sake of dying, but you go to the battle ready to die if it's necessary. So you just have to die the parts of yourself. You have to cut the parts off that are bad, and you have to work towards the things that are good. Work towards love, because love is sacrifice. So, sacrifice the things that are necessary for love. And if that means cutting off lust, cutting off bad friends, cutting off money or this and that, then it means it's necessary. You got to cut it off. You got to make the sacrifice. And the beautiful thing is, if she doesn't notice it, then that's okay. You're a man. People aren't going to notice the good things you do. So be it. If she does, then that's a blessing. And if she doesn't, then that's okay. You're going to keep on working anyways, because a good man is consistent no matter what. No matter if he feels loved or not. That's just what a good man is. That's preparing for fatherhood. Right? And that's the thing. It's the quiet death that every man has. The quiet dying every day that no one will notice. That's what makes love so eternal. And just as an additional note here, you have to learn to not be boasting about these things. I love talking about what I want to do. I love talking about what I want to do for videos. I love talking about what I want to do for a future business or money or love or relationships. And you know what I learned? I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop talking about all the things I'm going to do, and I'm just going to do them. And I'm going to let my results speak for themselves. I'm going to let the business show everyone that I was so interested in it. I'm going to let my relationship and the love that I have show the whole world that Nolan Painter's such a loving man. I don't need to tell people. They're going to see it, right? But that comes from the silent death every day. Because again, that silent death is what makes love so eternal. Anyways, my name is Nolan T. Painter. I'll see you tomorrow. And thank you very much for watching.